Howdy partners, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Brooks Yoga and Fitness. I am so thrilled that you're here. Today is going to be a really fun yoga HIIT fusion. It's mostly HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, but yes, you know I've always got to thread that yoga in there for balance. So come and join me on your mat. Okay, so I do recommend that you have a blanket or a towel handy for the knees. And actually, we're going to start with that right now. So first, you can sit on top of that. Let's just take a pause and a breath. Inhale fully through the nose. Sigh that out through the mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale and sigh out. All right, just check in with the neck. Move it around a little bit. Oh my Lord. I don't know if you could hear that. You probably could. But lots of snap, crackling, and popping, which is just fine. It's not unhealthy unless there's pain. Shake out the shoulders a little bit, roll them around. And then we'll just do a little bit of heart open and up forward and rounding back. Inhale, reach, exhale, round. And one more time, open, exhale, round. Let's take one downward facing dog and then we'll use that blanket or towel like I was talking about. So coming into your downward dog, just waking up through the legs. This is just a beautiful way to get those hamstrings a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of length. Don't force, don't try to get your heels all the way down. And then lower your knees and get that padding and place it about midway down your mat because you're gonna put your knees right onto it, kneeling like so, and we're gonna be stepping forward and back onto this, okay? If you need to put your hands down to assist you at any time, please put your hands down. You'll still be doing tons of work. All right, so we're gonna step one foot forward, lean into that, and then step the other foot forward, we're in a chair. With the same foot you led with, that knee comes down and then the other knee down. Now we'll switch. Other foot comes forward, lean in, root, step to chair, step back with that knee that started or that leg that started and back. So that's the flow, okay? And you can go really slow or you can go faster. If you forget which side you're on or which leg that's leading, don't worry about it, okay? Never worry about that. You're still doing the work. Now, focus on your breath a little bit more. And as much breath as you can today, I'd like you to take it in and out of your nostrils. That won't always be available to you, especially if you're talking a lot like I am, which hopefully you're not. But you will want to try to get more air through the nasal passages. If you haven't read Breath by James Nestor, that book will be very helpful for you understanding why. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in, big sigh out. Pedal and move it out, bending one knee and the other, letting the shoulders open a little bit, and just feeling that increased heart rate. If you wanted to know all the reasons to breathe in and out through your nose, even during exertion, it would take me like at least 3 hours. So read that book. Lower the knees down, nice and slow. And we'll move that prop out of the way. You don't need it for now. Go back into your downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, we'll go into our first plank pose. So in this plank pose, you can always be in a kneeling down plank where the knees are behind the hips. You have a bit of a rounding, so a cat aspect in your spine, not overly so. And then from here, either stay and hold your plank, or you're gonna do button taps. There's a button in front of you, to the side of you, and underneath you. And you have to press another button that has those same positions with the other hand and beneath. And forward button, side, back, hand down. Other hand, forward, side, back, and down. One more time each side, forward, side, back, down, forward, side, back, down. Downward dog or child's pose. Child's pose is about like this. Knees can be together or separated. You can come all the way down or just to the forearms. Give the wrists a break at any time. Deepest breath of the day. Big sigh out. Okay, now we'll go back to breathing through the nose. Walk your hands back towards your feet, bend the knees any amount for that. From here, go through a chair pose, and then press all the way to stand. Reach up, open your spine any amount, lift your heart. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Deep breath in, and shake it out. And when I said open your spine, I kind of meant back bend your spine and open your heart. Okay, well, we're gonna get into the fast twitch muscle fibers, which is a pressing and a spring back. If you have any knee issues, you're gonna take a little tiny step and a press back. Just one and then the other. Hands can be at the waist. And then from here, if you wanna increase, you're going to step further forward. Your back heel will come up when you step further forward and you're springing back. You're really trying to press the floor away from you to get those fast twitch muscle fibers to really that explosive movement. Bringing explosive movement into your workouts is really great for longevity. Okay, now if you want to bring the arms in, reach out, pull back. Reach out, pull back as you step back. 5, 4, stay with it. Even if it's little, 3, 2, last one. Pause and breathe. Find your mountain pose. Remember, we're still bringing yoga into this. Unlock the knees, unlock the glutes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold and walk into a plank pose or knees down plank. Transition into either a knees down side plank or full side plank, staggered plank, or one knee down. Lots of options. From here, lifting and lowering the pelvis. If you're on your knees, it'll look something like this, okay? I promise you, no matter which option you've chosen, even if you decided to lift that top leg and go crazy, no matter if you're in the knees down or full option, you are going to feel this. Shoulders, back, lats, and really deeply in the obliques. 3, 2, 1, and full plank. And now we go to the other side. Choose, again, maybe it's on the knees, maybe you're just holding it. You don't have to go up and down. And maybe you are taking that option. You can go really slowly and see how that feels. You can make it smaller range of movement and see how that feels. This is a doozy, but luckily, high intensity interval training, our classes are short because they're so impactful and we're doing so much work. Back to full plank, and then guess what? Child's pose. Let's get off of those wrists. Roll them out. Take the hands down. Inhale, open your hands. Exhale, fingertips to thumb. One more time. Big inhale, expand the hands. Exhale, bring the fingertips towards the thumb. Downward facing dog. And then from here, we're gonna use those hamstrings and glutes to do some fast, explosive movement of taking our heels towards our sitting bones, okay? And this is probably not an action you're used to doing, okay? Don't worry, I know it looks really weird, feels really weird, but we wanna get that activity at the back of the legs. Our quads are generally much stronger than hamstrings, and we wanna make sure we have a little more balance. Okay, now if you want more work, you're going to run your downward dog, okay? And then if you want even more, you're going to spring much higher up in between. Notice that I'm landing with a bent knee. I am never landing straight with the knee. 3, 2, 1, downward dog. Remember, you never have to do those jumps. You can always choose a modification. Inhale fully and sigh out. This time look forward, step your feet to your hands or walk there. Inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, fold. Chair pose for a little longer this time with a pulse, okay? So arms can be where you want them. If you're pretty tuckered out, which is totally explainable or totally understandable because of what you've been doing, then bring your hands to your heart or your waist. Moving up and down, fire in the legs. We really want to create that fire and recognize that you're stronger than you think you are. 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up, reach. Ooh, it feels good to straighten the legs, doesn't it? Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Deep breath in. And shake it out. All right, so we're going to do an action where we step out with one side, okay? So you're going to step out over to your right and let your left arm, right arm come down. Left arm to the side, okay? So let's practice that a little bit. I'm bending into my left knee, stepping to my right, and reaching down as if I'm holding a weight, or maybe just fingertips to the floor, and come back. Other side. So I'm stepping out to the left, and I'm reaching my left arm down, okay? So it is just a side-to-side tap where you're tapping on the inside of your arch. And you're bending one knee and extending the other leg out. Really great for hips, adductors, glutes, all of it, okay? Now, you can add a faster movement with this if you like, okay? If that's a bit much, slow it down and do a little march, or maybe don't come so low. Maybe it's higher up. You're still getting tons of work. Top arm can go more to the side, or more up. 3, 2, sorry, it's a 2 count. Last one, and mountain pose. Are we there yet? We don't have actually too much longer. Deep breath in, shake off all the clutter. And then we'll just take a lackadaisical swing around. Ooh. So this room in this rental that we're in, this rental house while we build, which we haven't even started building, is so hot. It's the hottest room in the house, and all these lights don't help. So I'm right there with you. I'm struggling right there with you. And then come back into your mountain pose, and we're gonna do some push-pull. Push out. Pull in. So you're gonna press out, then you're gonna turn the underside of the forearms up and pull in by your side body. Push out. Pull. Push away what you don't need. Pull in what you do. Push out what you don't need. Pull in what you need. Last time, push out what you don't. Draw in what you need. Drop the arms down, soften out through the shoulders. What we did earlier was a side to side like this. We're gonna change it because we're going to take a leg behind us. So we're just gonna let some neural pathways be built. So what I'm asking you to do is just take one foot, cross it behind the other, diagonally. The knee that's forward bends, okay? Knee that's forward bends. Now you can stay exactly with that. It's a little bit of a curtsy, or you can do what you did before, which is to extend the arms out, or one arm down, one arm up, okay? And for those of you who are feeling like, man, this is enough, then it is enough, and stay with it. For those of you who want more, you'll add a little bit of a hop in between the feet. The larger the hop, generally the more explosive the movement, a little bit more cardiovascular it becomes. Side to side. And then if you want, you can really make this faster if you're feeling like you want that challenge today. 3, 2, 1. That was a single count. Aren't you happy? Hands over the heart. Breath. If we don't have the breath, we've lost it all. Try to get that breath through your nose if you can. One more time. Go wide with your feet. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, maybe it's a half fold, maybe the knees are bent, maybe you're folding down to fingertips or blocks, possibly a little bit further. When you get there, let your nervous system know it's totally fine and safe. Maybe you sway a little side to side. You might bend one knee and the other, or you sway the torso side to side and the legs stay a little more straight. Like you're just smoothing out all of the rough edges. And then from here, transition to the top of your mat in a lunge, just a momentary lunge. I can't speak. Take yourself through a vinyasa or a child's pose or a downward dog. If you're newer to vinyasa, I have a video on that. A tutorial on chaturanga might be useful. Let's take a child's pose here. Walk the fingertips forward, take a full breath, fill the lungs, and let that go. All right, now from here, we'll come back to the top of the mat. Whatever that looks like, however you want to get there. If you're wanting to use the hops from before, you might hop up or walk. Exhale, fold. Choose how you want to rise. Inhale to come up, open your heart. Exhale, hands through to the chest. Deep breath comes in, and sigh it out, shake it out. Okay, so from here, we will go ahead and do a little bit of tapping back. So before we were stepping forward and coming back, this time we're stepping back and coming to stand, okay? You have to bend the knee that's in front. And if you want to extend the arms as you step back and pull in and use that pull action from in front of you, feel free. And if you want more work, you're going to hover the back foot close to the floor rather than tapping. Okay? If you want a different work than that, you can actually hover your back leg higher, but do bend your front knee. I'd really like you to be working those glutes and hamstrings and not doing this with a straight leg, straight front leg, okay? So again, you have all these options. 2, last one, mountain pose. Deep breath in, then let it go. When we do those sighs and stuff, that's kind of different than the rest of the time. We're letting ourselves kind of wash through and reboot, but the rest of the time, if you can breathe through the nose, that's great. Some of us, when we're this tuckered out, won't be able to. There's plenty of times when I can't do it all the way through the nose, absolutely. All right, come on down to your mat. Bring the legs forward, shake it out a little bit. And then from here, we will go ahead and add a lean and a lift. So we're just gonna start with that, a lean and a lift. Knees are bent, feet are about hips distance apart. Lean and lift. Arms can kind of do what they want to as we integrate. And then from here, feel free to reach one arm back, center, other arm back and center. Or you can actually just kind of turn your body a little bit and drag one shoulder blade back, even bending the elbow, rather than going into that huge shoulder and back work of reaching back, especially if that bothers you at all whatsoever, okay? And if you want, you can do something a little more rounded and then a little more back. So you're rounding and then opening. Rounding, opening chest, and rounding, opening chest. Come to seated, find your breathing. All right, so this is the last pretty tough thing that we're gonna do, and it's something that I'm sure most of us are not used to doing. And that is, first, you can choose your hand position, so you can turn your fingertips in, to the side, or back, depending on what the shoulder likes most. This is internal, kind of in between, external. All right. Roll your shoulder blades onto your back and lift your pelvis. Some of us are going to be right here. We're going to hold this posture, and this is going to be plenty. If you can reach the pelvis higher, you will get more of the pectoral and shoulder opener available, and you'll be working more through that posterior chain. Breathing here. Okay. Then from here, we're doing a little can-can, okay? So some of us are just going to do a march, like so. You can also do a march in a bridge pose if you like, okay? And then if you want, a little can-can. I can. So bending and then pressing, down. Bend, press, down. Knee kick, down. Knee extension, down. In, up, 3, 2, 1. Full posture, inhale. Exhale, slowly come on down. Roll on down, ease on down the road, and hug your knees in. Rock side to side. Oh my goodness, I am glad that's over, but I'm also glad I did it, aren't you? Keep one knee in, extend the other leg. Let the other leg meet the floor. Don't hover it, let it meet the floor. Open those hip flexors. And then go ahead and switch that. Both knees in. Extend the legs up. Knees might be bent. Point and flex through the ankles and the toes. So I don't recommend doing high intensity interval training right before bed, okay? That's probably not going to be a great time to do it. Any other point of the day, my bedtime yoga or something more relaxing would probably be better before bed. And hug those knees in. Widen out the knees to the extent that that feels good in your hips, and add a little movement in there. Let the adductors soften, pelvic floor soften. And then soles of the feet down. Take your very favorite twist. I'm going to take one knee in, cross it over the midline, and extend my opposite arm out and down with my palm facing up. Relax the belly. Draw back through midline and take whichever twist you took on one side to that opposite side. Please note that your arm doesn't have to be in a certain position, and that your knee and your shoulder don't have to touch down. Mine are not, okay? So there's a lot to say about that. Please understand that you can be getting a great stretch even if the knee's down and the shoulder is hovering, or the shoulder is down and the knee is hovering, or if you have some propping underneath the knee or the shoulder. Come back in through center line. Hug it in one more time, and then we'll set up for Shavasana. So I would recommend either legs up the wall, or even putting the back of your legs on a chair with your knees at 90 degrees, roughly, or maybe using your propping for underneath your legs, underneath the knees. And that just lets things feel a little more relaxed, especially if you're on a hard ground. Arms where you want them. If you want more of a passive shoulder opener, take the arms up above you. I like to stack my hands there. I don't overthink the position. Please don't overthink the position. Go into something comfortable. Inhale fully. Take that sigh. So earlier you were having to stabilize a lot. Please let your entire body and every single cell know that you don't have to stabilize anymore, that you are being completely held up by the earth, and you can just pour yourself onto it. Finding this release and allowing it to inhabit your body. Allow your body to drink up the relaxation, because we want our bodies to know effort, but we really, really, really want our bodies to know ease. And a lot of times, especially in our culture now, we are obsessed with effort. I think it's shifting, hopefully, to self-care and self-love and a little more ease and relaxation. Give yourself that time now. Relax the bridge of your nose. All the little muscles that surround the eyes, let that go. Roll out a little yoga mat, and imaginary little yoga mat for your brain. And let your brain be on its own little yoga mat in its own little Shavasana, and rest. If you need to stay here longer, feel free to do that. If you're ready to make some gentle movement in the body, add that on. Be slow. I used to be the student who popped right up out of Shavasana or even skipped Shavasana. Now I realize the importance for the nervous system and for the whole body to ease slowly up, really taking our time to come back into a seated position. And feel free to put your blanket underneath you to aid in making that a little more comfortable. Let yourself take a moment of honor for the work that you've done and the rest that you've done. Thanks so much for being here, for choosing these classes, because I do know that you have a lot of options. Please, if you have any questions, write them in the comments and I will get back to you. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.